And we are live. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. I hope everyone's going. I'm just gonna go ahead start the stream automatically. Just go off the topic because I am 12 minutes late. I am 12 minutes late. I do apologize for that. I was actually getting my MCU list in order. I noticed I've not done. Oh wait, there's an ad right now. So right now, some of y'all are probably getting the ad. So, anyways, let's just wait till everyone's in the chat. Let me see who is here. Let me read. We got Vortex, we got CGH, we got everyone. Give me a second. Okay. Anyways, okay. So we're good. We're good. So what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Multiverse movies, or whatever you want to call this place. But we are talking Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, spoilers and full discussion. Anyways, let me play my intro if I can find the dang intro. All right, so let me read the chat in a bit. We do have a poll right now, so you guys are able to get your voice heard on what you thought about Guardians Volume 3. Now, I will warn you guys before going on to the rest of the stream, there will be spoilers for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So if you've not seen the movie yet, or you don't want to get spoiled at all, well, put this on watch later and watch it, well, obviously later. So check it out later on or whatever. But now is the time for spoilers. Feel like we waited enough. It's been a couple of days. I've seen the movie twice now, so my opinions are completely formed at this point. I think there's no going back. I did my ranking. I think some of y'all will be. I mean, I guess if you've been listening to me or watching my videos, I guess you can get a good gist of where this movie might be in the list. But for some of y'all, it might come off as a surprise where I'm putting this movie. I don't know. It depends on if you've kept up with my content or not, whatever. But let me check the chat. We got Vortex here. We got CGA. Check and see out there. We got Ibrahim Ali says, "Hey Isaac, I'm making my own video, but in short, I loved it. Great screenplay, direction, performances, soundtrack, effects, and narrative choices. My real question is, ¿dónde es tu tarjeta verde? Well, it's ¿dónde es tu tarjeta verde?" But it, it's I all I can say it exists to some capacity. But no, I agree with everything. I mean, I think this movie is a masterpiece. I genuinely think that I love this movie. There's such a soft place for it in my heart now. But I saw CJH and Vortex were having a massive conversation, but Vortex is mass is like the stream report, you guys. I agree right there. Make sure to dislike, make sure to report, make sure to block, make sure to tell YouTube that we're promoting terrorism and racism here. So make sure you do that. And also leave the meanest comments possible. And then share it to your family members and tell them to stay away from this channel. Just kidding. Isaac should move to Rumble. That way you can show GT5 movies. I will say I have thought about just the videos I make here and just uploading them on Rumble, just because there's actually quite a few people that go on Rumble. Well, that's only an idea. I wouldn't make like specific content for Rumble, but that would be funny. But then again, I've never even downloaded the app, so I don't even know if it's good or not. But that was just an idea. I'm not reading CJH's their entire conversation. Anyways, let's see. Where is it? I was doing things. I was doing my ranking, and during my ranking, I was speed running it so much that I kept forgetting some movies existed. And so we'll get into that in a bit. But anyways, he fell asleep. Hey, I'm not a CERN masked man, okay? I'm white. I can't do that. Let's see. Where was I think this is the same thing Ibrahim put. Yeah, is the same question. All right. So yeah, good on you. Oh, you got an ad. Yeah, I'm not reading that, bro. What the heck? Okay. Yo, what's up, Kavari? Kavari says, Isaac, when are you coming back to MME? I will never go back to MME. That's as much as I'll say. Let me see. Okay, there's so much. Okay. We're promoting terrorism and racism clipped. Yep, it's the main thing right here. We promote racism. We promote prejudice against everyone equally, whether you're a woman, whether you're a straight guy, white guy, Hispanic guy, black guy, Asian guy, no matter who you are, we promote prejudice equally here. Just kidding. That's gonna be a clip that everyone's gonna put everywhere and be like, "Stay away from this guy. This guy is evil and all that." But anyways, Isaac looking like a low budget solo maridueña. Whoa, man, whoa. That feels kind of racist, man. I'm just kidding. But hey, I am wearing the Cobra Kai headband. I love this headband. I actually wear this in public because it feels. I like it because my hair is long now. You can see right now it's long, and it helps control my hair. And you saw that I also had another headband, but this is my favorite one. I've had this for. It's funny. I got this a while back, like a couple of years ago, and I never really wore it because I never really felt like wearing a headband until my hair now is long again, and so now I just wear it. So yeah. Um, Make sure to tell everyone on Twitter that you will block everyone, then delete the tweets and say you're sorry. That's very specific. I did totally do that. And then we got Fernand Beckham, obviously. Antonio, what's up, Antonio? But let's see. Yo, what's up, Hunter Iggy? How you doing? And then we have Ibrahim saying, agreed, it's a masterpiece. It's about growing from our past traumas by confronting them. I'm done running, Pete. Beautifully told and so much. It has its shortcomings, but it was great. It was great. Yeah. So let me go into my full spoiler thoughts again. If you don't want to get spoiled or you've not seen the movie, I do have a review that's non-spoiler. So if you want to see my non-spoiler review, it's there on the channel. It's one of my recently uploaded videos. But anyways, what are my complete thoughts on the movie? To best explain it, I would call it a beautiful tragedy. And it was such a beautiful story. Now, to give you context to this, I love that first Guardians movie. You guys have to remember, I was 12 years old when that first Guardians movie came out, and it did change my life. It was a movie that changed my sense in music, and it was a movie that really, really got me to fall in love with sci-fi. I've always loved sci-fi. You know, at this point, I'd seen Terminator. I had seen obviously the Avengers films. You know, I had been reading comics by this point, but this movie really, at least the first one, really got me to love space sci-fi. And I really, ever since then, I got really into wanting to see stuff in space. And after that, I ended up watching Star Wars. You know, I've said this before many times. I didn't really grow up with Star Wars. I watched Star Wars, like, I think the first time I watched Star Wars at all was, I think it was after The Last Jedi came out. Not saying that The Last Jedi was the first thing I watched. It was around the time before Rise of Skywalker came out. Uh, and you know, the reason why I got into space so much was because that first Guardians film. And also it changed my music sense. I listened to a lot of old music because of the Guardians, and I always found it cool. You know, Come and Get Your Love is literally a childhood song, and I love that song so much. And I love that first Guardians movie because it got me to love space sci-fi stuff, right? And uh and I was really nervous for this film because wait, before I get into that, Star-Lord is my favorite MCU character. I've been saying that for years now, ever since I started this channel. Star-Lord is my favorite MCU character. He's one of my favorite characters of all time. I just love him. I think he's cool. He's dope to me. He is what it is. And I was very nervous going into this film because I was wondering, you know, how are they gonna nail this finale? You know, how are they gonna, you know, all everything tied, and how are they gonna be able to do the Gamora Quill storyline? How are they gonna perfect every character in their ending? Because the Guardians movies are pretty packed. They have multiple characters. Uh, and I really love this film. And I thought everything from the beginning to end, the music choice. I love how it starts off with Radiohead, right? It was actually funny because the first two movies start off with this fun, bombastic intro. The first one would Come and Get Your Love. The second one with Mr. Blue Sky, and the third one starts now with a more somber, depressing note. And I like because in that moment, you don't really have to know what happened to Rocky, even if you didn't read the comics or whatever. You got the gist by that point. By the time you got to Rocky, that song, you could tell something traumatic happened to Rocket. He was traumatized. He was treated lesser than. And just by the song, just by the way he's looking, everything you're looking at in that second, you could tell automatically that this is Rocket's story, and Rocket went through some deep shit. You know, he went through some deep shit. And there in the movie, it all looked visually great. The music in it, some of y'all already talking about in the chat. Dog Days Are Over. That song by Florence Machine, that song was great. I thought that song was great for the finale, but the movie itself, it was able to balance out all the story. It was pretty dark when it needed to be dark. It was emotional when it needed to be emotional. There was two scenes in particular that nearly got me, and those two scenes were really great. I will say that later, but everyone had their time to shine. The ending, I couldn't believe they were able to actually properly, at least to me, obviously it's subjective. They were able to properly end off these characters, at least the Gunn era of these characters. But what's funny is that when I left this movie theater, I felt even more nervous because I'm like, how the hell are they going to do Guardians without Gunn? And I've never felt that in my life, never with any director. Even right now, while I love the Zack Snyder DC films, you guys know that. Even with them, I'm not nervous about a new DC era. I'm not about that. But with the Guardians specifically, I am nervous about the Guardians. And what's up, Kamazun, Axel? How you doing, man? I'll get to y'all's chatting, but I don't know how the hell they're gonna do the Guardians without Gunn, because to me those felt like Gunn films, and I love that. I want to see films that you can tell are directed by a filmmaker with the passion, because now we live in a more different time where a lot of the big blockbuster films, like especially comic book movies, they're not really director focused. They're more studio mandated, director for hire type of stuff. Black Adam's the best example of that. Occasionally you'll get something different. Like I guess and yo, what's up, Daniel Martin? For example, you'll get Ryan Coogler with the Black Panther films. Those feel like Ryan Coogler films. You get the Gunn films. They feel like the Guardians films that are directed by Gunn. They feel like Gunn films. The Snyder DC movies, they feel like Snyder. But now we live a little more different, where a lot of these big blockbusters, they feel like they're too studio mandated, director, not really director led. It's just more director for hire. You just kind of exist there, right? Uh, but I love that this film felt uniquely Gunn, and I love that, you know, and I enjoyed everything. It was funny. I laughed at a poop joke. Now, to be fair, I'm pretty immature. Literally, I'm pretty immature, so me laughing at a poop joke probably isn't the most shocking revelation, but it was funny. A lot of the jokes were funny. A lot of music was great, and I like that this movie had a well balance of emotion while also balancing the humor. And I love that, because I also think that's another issue with the MCU right now, that Marvel, especially after Love and Thunder, really left a sour note on how do you balance the emotion and the funny, the laughter scenes. All right. And I feel like in this movie we got that. And a lot of the scenes were cool. I think honestly that hallway fight where No Sleep Till Brooklyn is playing in the background, I think that scene might be my favorite action scene in the MCU. Now I'm thinking about others. I'm thinking about Winter Soldier, the scene where Bucky is fighting Cap in the street. There's the end game final battle. I'm seeing the chat right now. Although that's not a specific action scene, that's like a big scene. While this one was a specific, I just love that scene. So it was so cool. It was so dope. This movie was everything I wanted to be. It was beautiful. The two emotional scenes I'm going to talk about is, and again, now we're getting into spoilers. So again, last warning: the one where Lila dies. That whole all the scenes with the little animals with Floor, Teeth, and Lila, they were so adorable, man. Like that is so adorable. But when Lila dies, and you see Rocket just screaming out of pain, and you see Floor yelling, "Rocket Teeth, Floor, go now! Rocket Teeth, Floor, go now!" And uh, that scene was very emotional, but I'm gonna say the scene that almost really, really got me was that ending scene where Drax and Mantis, where it's just a simple Drax is like waving and then Mantis is waving. You can see that Drax is like tearing up, and then after that, you see Drax now has a new life where he's a father again, where he's just dancing with the kids. And I like how the movie starts out with him saying that dancing is for losers. I forgot exactly like what he said, but he said dancing for losers, and then the ending is him dancing with the kids. And I like that it shows you that he's almost willing to do anything for these kids, because these kids are going to grow up basically as him as their father. How the hell are they going to raise with all those? I guess everyone's going to have to adopt someone, but um, man, it was all nice. I like that the movie, you could honestly make an argument in this current time that this movie's woke, because this movie does promote a lot of like anti-animal cruelty. It's very pro animals. PETA even recently said that it's going to be, or I think they said it is one of the best animal rights movies. And it's funny because no one's going to call it woke, because that people are stupid nowadays. But I'm not saying it is woke. I'm just saying that the people who use the woke logic, they're not going to put it into this movie, obviously. Um, but I like that the movie had a beautiful message. It had everything. It's all honestly, it was just breathtakingly beautiful. Everything was great. Everything was done well. I think my only criticism from I don't really have much criticism with the film. I mean, I don't have any. To me, it's a masterpiece. But the only slight thing that I noticed was when Adam Warlock. So it's in the scene where Gamora and Quill are in the same ship. By the way, I thought the way they ended that was amazing. Please, Marvel, please, please, for the love of God, please, I know Gunn's gone, but don't bring back Quill and Gamora. Make it feel permanent. Because one of my issues with the MCU in the past was the fake death parts. Everyone just dies and comes back. Like, bro, is it is it not like is death not permanent in the MCU? But I like that in this movie, it did feel that way, where it felt this was a different Gamora. And I like, please keep them away. That way you make it feel permanent, right? And thank God they ended in a way where Gamora's kind of like, man, this seems like it would have been a cool family, but my family's the Ravengers now. Uh, I will say I completely forgot Sylvester Stallone was in the MCU until this movie. I completely forgot it, but I love that they ended off like that. But the one negative I have was actually two. Uh, Adam Warlock, and I'm gonna bring up Antonio's comment here. Adam Warlock. Yeah, this is a spoiler discussion. Feel free to spoil it. I am fine with them not showing Adam Warlock that much because to me this was a movie about the Guardians, but purely based on my own thoughts on Adam. I did like that he was very powerful, but one of my issues is I felt like the movie didn't know whether to make him powerful or OP or not OP. That was a annoying thing, that was a little bit annoying because there were scenes where he was, like, so strong, but I do know that he was a baby, essentially. He was a kid. He was essentially Vision. I did like the first scene where they show him flying off, and they're, like, having cool badass music in the back while he's just flying and then boom, all that, but, um, I think Will Poulter did a good job. I think he did a good job. I just think that Adam wasn't like, if you came into this movie with Adam Warlock as your number one priority, you're gonna be disappointed because this movie doesn't really show you much of Adam. Adam doesn't really have much to do. There's some funny scenes with him. I do like when he kills the guy and the mom's mad. And he's like, "What more could we have shown him?" And then I like how he befriends that little furry animal thing. I don't know what the heck that thing's called. Uh, I like that he is pretty naive. I like that. I don't know why, but I found it really funny in the post-credit scene, the first one, when they're all just kind of talking about their favorite song. And I like how when Come and Get Your Love plays, I like that Adam's just kind of like doing this when he's vibing to the song. And it makes you show that he's like really young. He doesn't really know much. He's again essentially a baby. Uh, and I found that funny. Groot, I will say, was another. He wasn't shown much, but again, I'm fine with these negatives because at the end of the day, this was a film about the ending to the Guardians. As long as with Adam, as long as later on you give him more of a spotlight because Adam is a very important character. In fact, I was even more frustrated years ago when they didn't show him in Infinity War nor in Endgame. I remember before Infinity War, a lot of these like theory channels they were coming out being like Adam is going to show up in Infinity War. They're just hiding him in marketing. And obviously that didn't happen. I remember back then. Now I was 16 at the time. I kept up with movie news, but not as much as I do now, or not now, but a couple months ago. But I remember being super disappointed because Adam, obviously, if you've read Infinity Gauntlet, he's a very important character in that. But as long as in the future we get more of him, I think they did a decent way of starting him off, showing him more. Just that later on, you give us more. You if the future of Adam is just he gets a couple of cameos like this, then yeah, I'm be disappointed. But overall, I just love this movie. I thought it was cool. I thought it was dope. Uh, and I really love the movie. I really love the movie. I, the jokes were going great. I think a lot of the jokes were pretty funny. I really enjoyed them, but yeah, and then, man, I keep forgetting that Eminem made that song. Um, but yeah, let me get to some of the comments. See if I can find. There's too many comments. I gotta catch up to them. Sorry, guys. I just want to do my review, and then that way we can get into the conversation. Um, How many times did they joke about farts? Joking, joking. Hey, look, I don't mind. Like at the end of the day, people don't like Gunn's humor. I'm fine with that. Look, me personally, I'm immature. I like to make poop jokes. I like to make fart jokes all the time, bro. Like I like this kind of humor, as long as it's not too much or as long as it's not too childish. But I like the way Gunn puts them to me because Gunn almost makes it almost kind of extreme. I don't know. It's just a way. I don't know how to explain it. Oh, and then the first F bomb. I will say so I didn't even think that was the first F bomb until then I saw everyone saying it, and I was like, "Oh, okay. I didn't know this was the first one." I was like, "Did Iron Man never say one? Did Tony never did? Did really?" And then I realized, "Oh shit, he never did." So I guess that is true. Um, and yeah, and to me, I'm gonna say this right now. This movie in the short term is a bigger win for Marvel, but in the long term, I think it's a bigger win for DC because if this is the guy leading DC, because this isn't because you when Volume 1 came out, you could make the argument, "Oh, this is a fluke. This was Gunn's first time." But then he had the second one, which I will say the second one, I like the movie. I don't love it. It's the only Gunn comic book film I don't like. Or I don't love. I mean, love, like and love, two different words. But I like the second one. Then the Suicide Squad was a fucking masterpiece. I love that film. I love Peacemaker even more. And now with this one, man, the DC has such a bright future. I'm so excited for Superman Legacy. That is my most anticipated film within the next however many years. Like all the movies that we have announced right now, that is my number one. I'm more excited for that film than I am for King Dynasty. And this was even before Volume 3 came out, but I'm more excited for that film than King Dynasty, Secret Wars, Fantastic Four, you know, but it is what it is 69 times. James Gunn has a fart fetish. But anyways, let's see. Let me get into. Oh, there was one comment from Kamuzu that I really wanted to put. Oh, there it is. I'm disappointed no one died. I will say, and everyone knows that I was saying that I thought Drax was gonna die and that Rocket was gonna be alive, and he was gonna live the rest of his life with Lila. I was wrong about that, obviously. Although most people were wrong because a lot of people were saying that Rocket was gonna die, which I never believed for 1 second. I'm fine that no one died because I don't think every ending needs to be this character dies. And to me, and I think this movie really portrayed that the Guardians, they were a family, but they were you remember what Mantis says, and this was a cool scene. I like that Mantis says that Drax is the only one out of all of them that doesn't hate themselves. And I love that scene because that Star-Lord, Star-Lord had trauma, Gamora had trauma, Nebula has trauma, Rocket has trauma, and they're all these traumatized individuals, except Groot. Groot basically grew up with the Guardians as their parents, at least this version of Groot. And I like that the Guardians. One thing I like about it is that the Guardians really are a family, but they were more of a bandage for each other. They weren't the repairman. They were more of a band-aid because Star-Lord still had things to deal with. I mean, he hasn't seen his grandpa in years, you know. Gamora and Nebula both have father issues. Rocket obviously had this entire life issue. And I like that this was more of a goodbye for one another, not in a death way, but a more in a life way. And to me, it kind of feels like most of your friends in high school, where a lot of them, you might be very close to them, you might be super close with them, but ultimately you have to say goodbye because some of y'all are going to live completely different lives. Some of y'all are, one of y'all maybe is going to the military, or the other is going to college. The other one maybe is doing a career. Maybe one of y'all are leaving. And I like that. That's kind of the feeling of this, right? Where all they can do is remember the good times they had, but they still have their life to carry on. And I like that because realistically, I mean, Drax's story came full circle. He's a dad now again. Nebula can now finally build a home that she never had. Rocket can now his mentality is repaired, or not repaired essentially, but his trauma is almost done now, where he doesn't have to worry about the high evolutionary anymore. He can raise Groot. He can be the leader of the Guardians. Quill can now go back home and rest now. And I like that it went full circle with a lot of these characters. That's why to me, it was funny because if you had told me this ending without me having seen the movie, I would have thought, oh, that's dumb. Really? But then when I watched the movie and I realized what they were trying to do, I was like, "Yeah, I love this ending." I wouldn't have written this ending. I probably would have made everyone die, to be fair. But I did like that this ending felt sweet. It didn't need to be your cop out character dies and that's the end of the story. No, it's these characters have their own lives. They should be able to move on, right? But I like that. But anyways, let's see. The peeing scene will say didn't make me laugh. Like not every joke has to make me laugh. To me, as long as there's a chuckle or I enjoyed it. But the peeing scene, I guess, it wasn't like enough for me to be like it's not funny. I'm just kidding. Adam Warlock should have died. Whoa, whoa, gosh, you're so dark. You sure you're not from the DC universe? I'm just kidding. But if that would have been that would have, I feel like if Adam died, that would have made so many people mad, including me, honestly. Hunter says, I just started playing FIFA 23 manager mode. That's awesome, dude. I love FIFA 23. I love playing manager mode. Um, Adam Warlock gonna have in the future. Oh yeah, and I forgot about that. Groot spoke because we finally yeah, I remember it caught me off guard. I was like, oh, what does he say? He says, I love you guys. I remember it pans out to them, like you see like a zoomed out scene, and none of them are surprised. I'm like, oh, I guess this is supposed to mean that we understand it. But that was funny. It was also I don't know, I really enjoyed them. And then of course Daniel says family, 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 multiverse rock. Thank you, man. Um Isaac, did you read Infinity Gauntlet back then? Yeah, I remember reading it like a couple of years before Infinity War came out. Or no, wait. So when Age of Ultron came out, I think I was 13. I think it was around Age of Ultron because I remember when the post-credit scenes for Age of Ultron appeared. I was like, yo, that's the guy from Infinity Gauntlet. He's gonna come with the stones and all that. I remember that. Um, But yeah, there's some comics that I ended up reading after the movies. But you have to remember, I'm a Marvel baby. I grew up with Marvel. Like I know it's when I say that to adults out there, it's a surprise. But no, I really grew up with Marvel. And Iron Man came out when I was 6 years old. The first Iron Man, the first Homecoming, Spider-Man Homecoming, that came out when I was like 16, I think, or no, probably younger. That came out 2016, 2017. So I was 15, actually, 15. And I grew up with Marvel, and some of y'all did. Like I'm sure Kamuzu, Vortex, some of y'all grew up with Marvel, so did I. And to me, like I grew up reading comics along the time where Marvel was also gaining popularity. Um, Disney Plus and Hulu finally merger at the end of this year. Oh yeah, I heard about that. I mean, finally. What's funny is that my Disney Plus and Hulu membership end this month because I am cutting back on streaming because I got a lot of stuff to pay for. Like I do not have much money right now. But yeah, never mind. You did. Let's see. Hot take. This was the unfunniest Guardians movie. I didn't laugh once. You know what, Kamo? I think you're just being racist. I know you hate green people. I don't know what Gamora did to you, but your racism towards green people needs to stop. One of these days I'm gonna force you to watch Shrek. Just kidding. It's all subjective, and it's funny because I think I said this in my Spider-Man stream on that Friday when I watched the movie. After that, I went to hang out with some of my friends around late at night. And I remember one of my friends, the first thing he told me, because I had posted a picture on Instagram saying that this was to me the best MCU trilogy, and I still stand by that. And I'm gonna get into my ranking later, but to me, it's my favorite, or it's not the best, it's my favorite MCU trilogy. And I thought it was the perfect end for a almost perfect trilogy. I remember he was like, he was like, you're lying. The Captain America trilogy is better. Or no, he said you're wrong. And I just looked at him like, bro, you haven't even seen this movie. At least wait till then. Like, bro, come on. Um, how long did it take to back Warlock in the damn cocoon? I mean, I don't know what exactly the timeline is here. Like, I don't know what year this movie's supposed to take place, but uh, the first, I'm not, the second Guardians came out 2017, and this movie came out in 2023. So I wonder how long. Just kidding. Prayers for Jamie Foxx. I don't actually know exactly what happened with Jamie Foxx. All I know is that he got injured or something like that. John Tron is a poopy head. Whoa, whoa. We don't have to get that offensive, man. Come on, man. Oh, and then I forgot that there's a scene where Gamora's taking a shit. But one thing I thought about this the second time watching is Gamora's fucking nasty. She didn't wash her hands, and she ends up touching a Rocket Raccoon. Nasty ass man. That F bomb was used in the wrong place. How else are you gonna use the F bomb? It's not like I will say this. I've never understood this overreaction to curse words, and I feel like curse words to me just don't mean much. Uh, and to me, like, the F word is more used in stressful times, and that was a stressful moment. They're trying to head to see the High Evolutionary. They're going as fast as possible. Um, and it makes sense because you're seeing Nebula struggling with a door that he was able to easily open. So that, to me, I don't know how else you use the F word, you know, unless you wanted Rocket in that final scene, which was cool. He was like, My name is Rocket, Rocket fucking raccoon," you know. But anyways, can't wait to see Ace the Bat Hound shitting and peeing in Batman Brave and the Bold. That would be beautiful. I'm just kidding. Um, yeah, I mean, to be fair, Gunn's not directing all, and he's obviously not writing all the movies. But to me, I think what's going to happen, he's going to direct the Suicide Squad movies and the Superman movies, but everything else he's going to produce, obviously, like normal. He's going to plan out all of them. You know, for example, Brave and the Bold. Let's say he wants the Riddler to be the villain there. I don't know why I said Riddler, but if that's what he wants, that's what we'll get. But he's going to get writers and filmmakers to actually make the movie. That's one thing that differentiates Feige and Gunn. Gunn is an actual filmmaker. Feige's always been a producer. And I think that's the one advantage that Gunn has. Gunn has that advantage of knowing what a filmmaker needs, knowing exactly how filmmakers operate, and all that. So yeah, I'm hyped for Superman Legacy, All Star Superman, and Post Crisis like Superman going to be dope in live action. Yes, sir. Recast Kang. I would say recast Kang once we find out if what happened with Majors is true or not. But yes, somebody told me Drax died, but they lied. To be fair, to be fair, I remember when Endgame came out, I told one of my friends that there's a scene where Hulk and Natasha have sex, and he believed me. I didn't even know he believed me, but he believed me, and he told me, "Hey, they didn't have sex. Did you get something wrong?" I was like, "No, I was just fucking with you." But anyways, but they should have added that scene. I know they filmed that scene. Rooster Brothers. I know y'all are watching this. Reveal that scene between Natasha and Banner. Just kidding. Uh, let's see. Dr. X Wood, not Crypto pees himself. He's a funny, goofy dog. We should all laugh. Oh, I forgot. He says Crypto Solos Cosmo. Yeah, probably. Yeah. um, I just hope his Superman is a mixture of Superman. What's a Mwamba? He's from the animated series in the 90s and the version of Smallville. To me, as long as you bring everything that makes Superman Superman and make a good story with that, you know, uh, truth, justice, and the American way. I'm just kidding. Some people get upset when Superman doesn't say that anymore. It's like you guys do know that Superman represents the entire world, or at least should be the savior of the entire world, not just America. You know, I'm fine with that slogan. It's just I prefer the new one where it's truth, justice, and a better tomorrow. I don't know. I like that better because you have to remember that it's not just for Americans. This is comics for everyone. You know. Um, but yeah. Let's see. Okay. How to beat Rocket, call him a monster, he'll go crying to his mama. um, let's see. Uh Fernand Beckham, every MCU is not going to be the same as the comics. Well, I mean, by the way, and let's say this right now. The MCU is not the same as the comics. That's why to me, I was also fine with them calling themselves Earth 616. Because to me, I've always felt like the comics and the movies exist in completely separate eras. I know the comics reference the MCU as Earth 1999, which that is what I call it now, obviously. But to me, I was also fine with them calling themselves 616 because to me, the comics are the comics and the movies are the movies. They're very different. They exist in completely different areas. You're never going to see the comics do a crossover with the movies. Actually, never mind. I'll take that back. I do believe for some reason one day we'll see like a movie character just be in one of the comics. I don't know. Or I don't know. Maybe what if we'll say something like I don't know. But uh, to me, I've always the thing is, I hate when people say this movie needs to be comic accurate. We know damn well the MCU is not comic accurate. And also comic accuracy. I used to be super on comic accuracy is the most important thing of these movies back when I was like 14, 15, 16. Why did I name three different ages? Okay. But I used to be super like it needs to be comic accurate. Then the older I got, the more I'm like, "Hmm, it's not like the comics are perfect. I love the comics, but the comics are a multiverse. Same thing with the movies. They exist in different universes. Just make a good movie. As long as you take the core foundations of a character, do whatever you want to do with that, and then make a good movie. That's all I care about, you know? Like the Batman. Robert Pattinson's The Batman is completely different from a lot of versions of Batman that we've seen in the past. But I still love him because he still has the core DNA of Batman, and they made a great film with Pattinson. But anyways, let's see. I know Gunn said that Star-Lord didn't get his. I didn't realize this the second time. The first time I noticed it, and I was like, "Whoa, why doesn't he have his mask?" But the second time, you notice that that's because Star-Lord's in such a rush, and you notice that, or at least I noticed that more the second time around. Anyways, um, to me, I'm not like that when it comes to a movie. I'm not very picky on that kind of plot hole shit. You know, to me, as long as it's not too major, I don't really mind. But anyways, I have the graphic novel Marvel Infinity in my collection. It was a crossover saga that had both the grounded characters and the cosmic characters. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, Isaac, stop changing your race. You say you grew up with DC and that it's better than Marvel, and now you're saying the opposite. This is a transracial. I don't know how you got that. I grew up with Marvel. I just grew up with a lot more DC. Um, so yeah, I mean that's how I was, you know. I've always preferred DC over Marvel. The only time I ever preferred Marvel over DC was I think between 2019 and 2018 when Infinity War and Endgame, like during that time period. I remember around that time I was reading a lot more Marvel comics. I remember during that time I loved Marvel so much more. I was wearing much more Marvel merch, and then after Endgame came out, I came back to my roots and ended up keeping loving DC. But yeah, that's the only ever time I ever preferred Marvel over DC. Um, but yeah, crap. I'm not racist. I don't know about you, but I feel like a racist saying this makes it feel less genuine. I'm just kidding. StreamYard watermark, we up. Hell yeah. StreamYard's too expensive. I'm just using the free version because it is what it is. I accept all greenies. Greenies. I don't know why, but greenie sounds racist, man. Like I don't know about you, but that word has history, you know. And only a green person can give you the pass to say that, man. Okay. Me personally, I've watched enough Shrek to know that I accept green people. So my greenies out there, I love y'all out there. To all my green people watching this, much love. But Kamuzu doesn't get the pass. He doesn't even have green friends. So yeah, I'm just kidding. Yo, is George here? Wait, where's oh there he is. What's up, Isaac Nation? What's up, George? Hashtag Isaac Nation. um Let's see. Does Quill finally upgrade to an iPod? Low? That's what I kept thinking. You know, I feel like I wonder if when we see Quill again, he's gonna have like an iPhone, and you're gonna see him with like Spotify or something like that. Anyways, it's a hard pick for me, but my top two trilogies in the MCU are Captain America and Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh, that's awesome, dude. But yeah, to me is Guardians, and of course, my second favorite is Captain America. I grew up with Marvel, with X-Men, DC, with Batman in the 90s. And to me, it was mainly, I grew up mainly with DC, had Marvel there. I loved Marvel, but it was just always to me, I would always prioritize DC, whether it's Batman, Superman, Justice League, whatever. But yeah, it is what it is. Let's see. Drax and Mantis base. I love the scenes with them. Base, they just take a bike and don't give a crap about how the planet is exploding. Based. Let's see. Yo, we got Axel back. What's up, Axel? Let's see. Hulk said, "Am I this late?" Just kidding. America. America is John Toronto Trump supporter. God's guns and Homeland. I'm a Homelander supporter. Let's see. I will say I almost bought this one shirt. It looks like a MAGA hat, and the text said "Make poo poo pee pee again." I don't know what I found that shirt. I'm not sure. I found that hat at a Spencer's. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Spencer's, but it's like this raunchy store. It's kind of like Hot Topic, but for horny people. Uh, and I remember they had a MAGA hat that said "Make pee pee poop again." And I just found that funny for some reason. Yeah, I get. You know what? I'm basically James Gunn spawn. Am I? uh, Truth, justice, and the woke 08. Oh, Daniel saw the tweet. I made this funny tweet about cereal. I don't know. I had some Fruity Pebbles. And I was like, I wonder if someone's ever thought these were gay cereal because it's all rainbow, and I put out a funny tweet. Let me actually show up the tweet right here. Uh, I don't feel like pulling it up on my computer, but um, oh yeah, Daniel put a response. So here's the picture. I'll show you the picture. Here's the picture of the cereal put on Twitter, and then here's the tweet. So I'll just read it to y'all. It says, just got home from work to find that my wife bought this Pride Month cereal. Absolutely disgusting. Let me say in a voice. These liberals are trying to make my cereal woke. My kids should be able to eat cereal without seeing this woke SJW propaganda. Hashtag cereal woke. Hashtag bring back my cereal. And yeah, so there's the tweet. I don't know. It was something that I just thought in my mind. And I'll read Daniel's tweet. Oh, and CJ says wife Isaac has a family confirmed, and they post a picture of Dom. And then Daniel says Alex Jones warned us about that liberal cereal. Isaac, they're trying to make your kids gay with that woke cereal. Low. And I've been told that the people who make the cereal are actually the woke frogs that are trying to make our children gay. So stay woke. That's not a new phrase. I don't even know what the phrase is, but anyways, let's see. What does comic accuracy mean? That's what I've been saying for years, man. For years I've kept saying that. What is even comic accuracy? Because people do realize that there's not just one version of the comics, right? There's multiple versions of DC and Marvel characters, right? It's like when people say, I want a comic accurate Batman. Who is the comic accurate Batman? There's been many different writers, many different versions, and not just in the comics, but also in movies and cartoons. Like there is no comic accuracy. Like it's annoying, you know. It's annoying to me. But to me, there is like a fundamental DNA to each character that stays with the character from the beginning to end, you know. But I hate when people say comic accuracy because comics aren't, you know, there's different comics. What do you mean by comic accuracy? You know what I mean? But yeah, let's see. Yo, what's up, Darkness Under the Wind? How you doing? He says, hey Isaac, how's it going? Man, am I? Oh my God, I'm far into the that chat. I almost said messages chat. Yeah, the whole comics accuracy thing. I'm not too rigid with. The movies will never be 100% comic accurate. Exactly. And want to know what's the proof of this? Two of the most popular comic book movies are X-Men: Days of Future Past and Captain America: Civil War. Those are two very popular comic book movies, but yet none of them are comic accurate. That's why to me comic accuracy never really mattered. At least in the general scope of it all, right? And even Infinity War and Endgame, they took a lot from the comics, but they are not the comics. Even Thanos' motivation for Lady Death, that didn't happen in the movies, but no one fucking cared. In fact, I'll even say this, to me, the motivation of Thanos was far more better in the movies than the damn comics, and at least Infinity Gauntlet. Okay, I've always thought that. Even when I was in my most comic book nerd phase, even then I was like, man, Thanos' motivation is so much better in the movies than in the comics. But it is what it is. You greenie. Whoa. Okay. Oh, okay. Hey, I'm green and I'm his big brother-in-law. Okay. I'll give you the green card. Although I want the green card, but not the one we're referring to. I'm just kidding. Let's see. Kamuzu denied the green card. Quill's gonna be listening to Playboy Cardi. We're gonna Quill listen to Yeet Poppin'. You're gonna see like Quill's entire playlist is just gonna be a bunch of fucking Little Yachty and DaBaby. I'll be streaming again myself in a couple of days. I'll be talking Legend of Zelda. That's awesome, dude. And by the way, New York is not real. Yeah, I said it. What are you gonna do about it, huh? I'm just kidding. Woke cereal, there was pink. Yes, sir. Pink is for I remember that was a thing when I was a kid. I remember if you were a guy and you wore any slight bit of pink in elementary, you were called a girl. And I remember one time I was drawing and I think I had one of my guy characters have a pink shirt. Or no, it was pink pants. And I remember one of the guys being like, "Hi, Isaac's gay. He's gay. He's drawing a guy with pink on." That was funny. And I'm wearing pink right now. I just now realized that. Isaac's gonna get doxxed. Keep politics out of my cereal by Emily, age 16, K-pop fan. um, Sometimes the movies do better than the comics. To me, yeah, I mean, to me, it just as long as you make a good story, and I don't think it has to be better than comics. To me, I will say this though, I prefer a good movie over a good comic. Usually, I prefer movies over comics. Not saying that the movies are better than comics. I'm just saying that the media, I usually prefer a better movie than a better comic. Usually, um, and there's things that I wish Marvel had done that were like the comics, but to me, I judge it based on the movie itself. I hate this whole argument of it needs to be comic accurate. Well, the MCU has never really been comic accurate. They've taken inspiration from the comics, but never really comic accurate. Um, the best elements of each version combined into one. Civil War, Infinity War better. I prefer the Civil War in the MCU over this. No, I do prefer the Civil War in the comics. But one thing I hate is when people like say they want comic accuracy and then one of their favorite movies ends up being Civil War. It's like Civil War is very different in the comics than it is in the movies. Um, but yeah, I just want the suits to be accurate. That's all. I'm not showing as long as the suits look similar, or at least not similar. Similar is too vague. Look as much as the comics as they can. That as much as that's basically it. That's my thought on that. Um, But then again, Hawkeye didn't really get a comic accurate suit. Wait, what about the Hawkeye show? Didn't he wear purple? But he didn't have a mask on. Never mind. I guess I don't know. Sorry for the F bomb. I agree, Isaac Gatsby said the green card. Uh, HUHY rule is more real than New York. I actually don't know. Hero. I actually don't know what that means. George playing Zelda, cool. Like MCU characters like Iron Man, Captain America have the best elements of 616 and the Ultimate Universe. What about the Snyderverse? That's the one. I'm just kidding. By the way, Isaac looks pure Cobra Kai right now. Of course, man. Fuck them Miyagi Do Karate Kids, man. Fuck them. Daniel LaPussy is racist. He's appropriating Japanese culture, and he cheated. I don't know what's worse, being racist or or cheating in the All Valley tournament. So yeah, fuck Miyagi-Do. Cobra Kai's a goat. Freaking Sensei Reese is a goat. Sensei Reese was only doing what Johnny couldn't do. Sensei Silver was just expanding the Cobra Kai name. So yeah, fuck everyone that dares fight against Cobra Kai. Fuck you Miyagi-Do bitches, man. Fuck you guys. Just kidding. I do that with my friends a lot. Like a lot of times I'll like fucking start like hitting them and I'll yell ice, ice, ice. And I'll like yell, oh, you're probably from Miyagi, aren't you? Because you're on all that defense bullshit only, huh? I love Cobra Kai. I've said that before many times, but my three pantheons of shows that I love is Breaking Bad, The Office, and Cobra Kai. Those are my three pantheons. Those are the shows that I can rewatch so much and never feel bored at all. Um, but anyways, let me see the oh, I held up. Okay, never mind. Also, Quantumania is coming out on Disney Plus next week, so there's one movie I'm not watching. It's funny because Quantumania is coming out exactly when my Disney Plus membership gets canceled, so it's not like I was planning on rewatching it. I won't lie to you. The Quantumania is a movie that I genuinely think I'm gonna avoid watching again because I feel like it just gets worse and worse every time I rewatch it. And it's funny because the first time I watched, I still think it's a decent. It's what I call the definition of mid. It's a mid movie, and I think that I feel like the more I watch that movie, the more I'm gonna hate it. But then again, I now have an excuse, and that's that I don't have Disney Plus. But also, that's another thing that baffles me: the fact that Quantumania came out just a couple of months before Guardians. Bro, man, it's crazy to think, but this was made by the same, or not the same, but the same studio. Obviously, different filmmaker. Obviously, Peyton Reed and Gunn are very different. Gunn obviously gets far more control in his movies, But it is crazy to think that, man. We just came off probably one of the most embarrassing MCU movies of all time to then a movie, well, that a lot of people are claiming is one of their favorites now. And that's crazy, man. Quantum ass. Hey, all I'm saying is I wanted to see them turn Modoc around. Just testing the water, seeing what the Mocock looks like. Um, but should I show y'all my ranking now? I think I should show y'all my MCU ranking. Now, this ranking I might change it because I almost had to rush this. But I believe the MCU has 35 projects. Correct me. Besides Werewolf by Night and the Christmas special, there's 35 projects, right? Because I tried doing all the shows and all the movies, and I'm gonna show y'all my MCU ranking. Right? Are you guys fine with that? I'm eating the Modoc cheeks. Whoa, whoa, Vortex, whoa. Bro, they got the same writer from Quantum and King Dynasty. God help us. Well, writers writers can learn from their mistakes. You have to. Taika Waititi is the same guy that made Thor Ragnarok and Thor Love and Thunder, right? To me, I don't believe in judging a filmmaker based on one thing. Now, what I do believe is in judging them by multiple things. For example, I think the writers of Madam Web, I think, are besides they wrote Morbius, and they wrote a couple of other movies that are also ass. And I like Morbius, but I will say a lot of the writing in Morbius was awful, man. That makes me nervous because there's almost a rhythm to that. Like it shows you that they've not done well. But with King Dynasty, I'm fine with it almost to an extent because I know this isn't their only thing. It's like, it is what it is. We need Modoc deleted scenes, face screen smiling. Man, Modoc is so hideous to watch. And what the scene that I've rewatched most from Quantumania is the scene where Cassie's telling him don't be a dick. And then the scene where he sacrifices himself against King and he says, "My name is Daryl and I'm not a dick." Yeah, that scene, man, that makes me laugh, but it makes me laugh unironically. It's like a type of laugh you're not supposed to laugh at. It's kind of like laughing at someone you know's funeral. It's like you're not supposed to, but like you feel like an ass like laughing, but you're still laughing. I love laughing at funerals, by the way. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding about it. I will say this though. I have this thing where I joke around a lot. When people in my life have died and I've gone to funerals, I will make jokes in my head about, stuff like that. I know that's something then that people are gonna think is fucked up, but it's just something that I've always coped with a lot of things with humor. Not saying I'm a funny person, just saying that that's just how I usually cope. But anyways, let me put my I did a Google Docs. I should have done a presentation mode. But anyways, let's go. Don't tell Ariana. Don't worry, I will tell her. I'm just kidding. Look, I'm a snitch. I'm a professional snitch. They call me 6ix9ine for a reason. I don't have the dyed hair. I don't have the tattoos, but hey, they call me 6ix9ine for a reason. I'm just kidding. Now my real name is Haywood Jablomi. Hopefully those writers are on strike. Lol. Yeah, I've heard about the writer strike. Some people have been asking me like why I haven't made a video. The reason why I'm not making a video on it is because I'm being completely honest. I don't really know much. I'm being honest. And I had someone annoyingly tell me that I should post about like support the writers. And while I support employees getting good wages, to me, I've said this on Twitter. I stopped caring about a lot of this movie stuff. Right? I just try to have fun with it. I have some videos ready for my second channel, and slowly, little by little, I tend to hate nerd fandom a lot more. And also, there's so much more stuff in my life that I'm dealing with that I just don't genuinely care about the writer stuff. I do want them to get. I know that it's gonna be a struggle, especially if this carries on. This might hurt movies going for the next few years. Um, but I genuinely don't really have much care for all of this, honestly. To be fair, because you're Mexican, yes, sir. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean, hey, look, hopefully all things get sorted. But I just don't feel like making videos on it. To me, I only make a video on something if I genuinely care about it. All right. But anyways, let's put the window. Chrome cap, and we have here. So I believe there's 35 projects. Correct me if I'm wrong, but my opinion on things might change. Now I will show y'all the coloring. So if it is red, it means I do not like these. Now, there's only one Marvel movie I do not that I hate, that I despise. Everything else, it's watchable. But the red is stuff I don't like. The blue is what I call mid. Mid doesn't mean bad. It just means it's also not good, or at least I don't really like it at all. But it's not bad enough for me to put it in red. The black is just I like, and then the green is I love. Okay, so just put it there. So the only Marvel movie I hate, that I despise and I can never watch again, is Thor: The Dark World. I hate Thor: The Dark World. I genuinely cannot stand this movie. I've tried rewatching it a couple years ago when I was doing my Marvel rewatch, but I genuinely cannot stand Thor: The Dark World. It's not even because of the right. It's just that the movie's really boring. It's the only MCU thing that I call boring. Even some of the other bad stuff in the MCU, at least they're entertaining enough. But Dark World is so boring that I genuinely would rather have I would genuinely rather put my dick in an ant pile than watch this movie again. I know it sounds like I really hate this, but I really do. Even the other bad stuff I'm about to list off, even all the other stuff, it's watchable, but this isn't. Like Vortex puts here, Dark World is boring, yeah, and forgettable. Yeah, a lot of the stuff, and the only stuff I can remember from Thor: Dark World is, or at least the only stuff I like to remember, is that Loki. I like Loki in this movie. Loki's fun. If someone could edit me all the scenes from Loki, all the Loki scenes in this movie, that's the only thing from this movie I like to watch. Let me read some of the. Um, I'm working on doing streams about other stuff that's outside of typical fandom talk, like Marvel, DC stars. I love other franchises and want to branch out. Yeah, that's what I want to do with my second channel. I want to branch out and expand my horizon. And also commentary. Commentary gets shitloads of views, man. It gets shit, like my videos with an 80 subscriber base. By the way, thank you guys for getting me 80 subscribers on my second channel. Um, but that channel, there's videos on there, a lot of them that now have over hundreds of views, and it's crazy, bro. It's crazy how much commentary gets you. Movie talk doesn't really get to you unless you're talking a specific topic. Like if you're talking about Ezra Miller every day, you're probably gonna make bank. But if you're just trying to do like variety, like normal movie talk, it's not really much views on there. A lot of my videos only average 100 views, which is still really amazing. I love that, but it is what it is. You hate Dark World more than Love and Thunder. Well, I don't hate Love and Thunder, and that's the next movie I put here. It is red because it is negative. Love and Thunder is a very poor movie that I don't like, but I don't hate it because Love and Thunder at least has elements of it that I have fun with. I really like gore. Christian Bale's gore is great. I think I like the Jane Foster story. There's a very, very few jokes I actually found funny. Um, some of the song choice, while I think was done poorly, I think the songs in there is, I mean, my favorite song of all time, "Sweet Child O' Mine's" in there, so obviously but other than that, to me, is a poor movie. The difference between Love and Thunder and Dark World is if you were to invite me to your home and you put on Love and Thunder, it'd be bearable for me to watch and still have a decent time. Dark World is just so boring that I'd probably fall asleep. Uh, honestly, but Taika Waititi wanted to write trash Dora in Love and Thunder on purpose, though. No one makes a movie bad on purpose. People just happen to write it bad, Drama is, people like drama. I mean, yeah, even in this community, and I don't mean to shit on anyone, but even this community itself, people like drama. Like I don't mean to bring it up, but when all that Max stuff was going on, look how many views Jarbo and Saki were getting, or how many views RJ was getting. Look how many jokes ever, even Max, when all that stuff was going down, look how many views they all got because people like drama. Um, and that's the truth. Like I don't mean to be an ass, but that is the truth. And don't get me wrong, I even fell for it. I watched a lot of their streams. I kind of regret watching their streams because that was time out of my life I could have done to something productive. But yeah, I mean, people just like drama. Malachi is a top tier villain. I think I forget. No, that was his name, but no, he's forgettable. I don't even remember the reason why he did what he did. Um, but yeah. 2012 goat jokes. Oh, that was the cringiest part. I couldn't even stand that. But yeah, Love and Thunder, negative movie. Now the next one is She-Hulk. Now I do not hate She-Hulk at all. She-Hulk actually has like 2 or 3 episodes I actually find funny. There's a couple of jokes that I find funny. I think my favorite episode from it is the Daredevil episode. I really enjoyed that episode. But other than that, it was a pretty disappointing. It's annoying to watch a comedy that isn't all that funny. Although there's a couple of jokes I liked, for the most part, it wasn't funny. I wish they had hired comedy writers. Can Marvel stop hiring Rick and Morty writers? Seriously, I don't even think Rick and Morty's all that good, to be honest. Like, I think it's funny to an extent, but like a lot of it's just kind of I don't really like. Although I did like the Nazi scorpion joke. I think that's the funniest joke I've ever seen in Rick and Morty. But yeah, She-Hulk to me another negative red. Now again, Thor: The Dark World is the only one out of these that I hate. The rest, it's bearable, but that's about it. Now, next is now blue. Like I said, blue means mediocre, and I do agree with this part. She-Hulk is the worst MCU show. Blue means mid. It means there's like half of it I like, half of it I don't like. So you can already see my red list is already like my red list is very low. But Ant-Man Quantumania, I talked about it already. Um, but anyways, what was I talking about? Oh, Quantumania. A lot of the jokes in it were cringy. The whole Modoc stuff was cringy. It was a movie that I felt was no passion into it. Like, no disrespect to Payne Reed, but this movie felt like there was no passion to it. Sure, Jonathan Majors as Kang was cool, but that can only save you so much. The characters weren't even. I mean, Scott Lang as a character I love, but in this movie he was just kind of a dick, and that was about it. But yeah, Quantumania. Then number 3, Hawkeye. I like the Christmas vibe to it. I really enjoy it. There's a lot of Christmas stuff, but a lot of the episodes were very weak. I would even say half the episodes was there 5 episodes, I think, yeah. And I would say most of them were weak. I did like the first episode. But yeah, Hawkeye m- mid mid to me. Again, obviously it's all subjective. Obviously it's all subjective. You guys are gonna have different perspectives on this, and that's cool. But yeah. No, Quantumania is ass. To me, I didn't think Quantumania is ass. I think there's enough for it for me to still be able to watch again. Isaac is Friends funny because DC Dot said the jokes in Friends were corny and compared it with She-Hulk show. Oh, you're talking about the show Friends? I like Friends. I like Friends. I actually enjoy it. Um, I like it. I don't love it like I used to. Like there was a point where I actually genuinely love Friends, but now I just like it and enjoy it. I don't know. I feel like some people in nerd fandom get too picky. I don't know. To me, I don't know. I'm not gonna criticize anyone else, but yeah, it is what it is. Vortex says, "Man, school is getting so depressing for me. Spring break just ended. 7 to 6 weeks left, and they keep adding more days. It's like they're taunting us. I can't stand this crap anymore. Every day I'm so freaking burnt out. Coming back home just to wake up at 9 a.m. to go to school and like 18 a.m. I repeat every single day. That sucks, but it's part of life, man." Um, just wait until you have to get a job. That's when it gets really bad. But yeah, then there's Hawkeye, then there's Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2, I think, has a lot of good in it. I like that suit up scene in the track. Um, the villain was weak. A lot of the movie I felt like it was trying too much to set up the Avengers. Um, and while I like Tony, because obviously Tony is one of the most fun characters in the MCU, I really love him. I think genuinely Robert Downey Jr. saves this movie, but overall, I think there was a lot more weak to it. But yeah, then 31. This one might be a little bit of a surprise. Spider-Man: Far From Home, High Sky. But yeah, sorry about that, Vortex. If you want, we can talk about this later. Spider-Man: Far From Home. It's a movie. It's the first time I ever watched a Spider-Man film. Uh, since TASM 2, which I think was only. Well, I think there's only one movie in between. Uh, but Spider-Man: Far From Home, a weak movie. I think if my one of my issues was Far From Home felt too much like it was trying to be Iron Man 4, right? And this is coming from one of the biggest Tom Holland defenders. I love Tom Holland Spider-Man, but Far From Home, weak. I really love Mysterio in it. I really like it. I don't even consider this movie really mid. I call it above average, but that's not really all that good. Um, The Mysterio stuff was cool. Tom Holland acted well. I thought a lot of it felt like this movie wanted to be John Hughes, but forgot what made John Hughes movies great, which is the opposite with Homecoming. Homecoming perfectly nailed the John Hughes vibe, because I know that's what these Spider-Man films kind of feel like. Iron Man 3 better. Oh, you'll see that later. Isaac with tough love. I'm sorry if I sound like an ass. It's just right now I'm kind of like in a different mindset right now. Sky says, I think the actor who plays a High Evolutionary should play Kang if they recast him and they can just say the High Evolutionary is a Kang variant. Oh, I think his name is Chuck Woody, or Woody. I think that's his name, or Awuji. I forgot his name, but yeah, he was an amazing actor. Forgot to talk about that. I think he did good with what he had. I like that he's just a purely evil guy and that you just want to hurt, especially because in the last few Marvel movies, we've had more sympathetic villains. I like that we had a different change of pace. We like him. And if they were to recast him as Kang, um, I wouldn't mind. But yeah, anyways. And then 31 Falcon Winter Soldier. Now, I'm gonna be honest. I've not seen Falcon and Winter Soldier since um I haven't seen Falcon Winter Soldier since it first came out. There's things I liked. I really liked the crap, what was his name? The new Captain America, or at least why am I forgetting his name, bro? How do I forget his name? Anyways, I really liked him. I really liked the story of Falcon eventually taking up the Captain America mantle. But overall, some of the episodes were cringe. Uh, they were just, I don't know, they were just, it was just not all that good. The villains were so forgettable. Flag Smashers. I don't even remember what the main girl's name is. The ginger girl. I don't remember her name. But but yeah, it was just forgettable. Didn't really like it. I also felt like they didn't really feel, because what the show was marketing itself as, they were marketing themselves as Falcon and Bucky both fighting crime together, and it just didn't really feel all that much. Kurt Russell's son, yep, yeah, him. But yeah, forgot your Spider-Man movie rankings. Yeah, I forgot I did do one. Jake Gyllenhaal was wasting Far From Home. Felt like anyone could play the role. No, I don't really agree with that. I think Jake did really good with what he had. My only issue is that movie just didn't feel like a Spider-Man film. It felt like everything High Top's film said about that movie. I completely agree with that. Um, wasn't it Alan Horn? Alan Horn actually ended up hiring Gunn, I think, for Warner Bros. For DC, because now he works at Warner Bros. And he probably was part of the team that helped hire Gunn. So maybe this was a plot from Alan Horn. But no, I still think one of the dumbest decisions in Disney, at least in the last few years, was firing Gunn. And now they can't take it back because Gunn's gonna do DC from now on. It's, you know, and I guarantee you, a lot of Snyder fans, if they could go back in time, would probably time travel and have Alan Horn keep Gunn. Um, he is the first MCU villain I wanted to punch. I think there's a couple of others. The crap. What's the guy in man? I'm forgetting some of the names of some of these characters in the Marvel universe. The villain of the first Iron Man film. I think he too. There's a couple others, But yeah, Falcon Winter Soldier 31. Now at 30 is Black Widow. This was a movie I actually enjoy. My main criticism from this was the whole Taskmaster stuff. I think that was it. I also thought it didn't feel like the spy thriller I wanted it to. To me, this movie, like I said, and I still keep this into mind, this felt like a James Bond movie written by high schoolers. It did. It felt like a movie written by high schoolers. I thought a lot of it was dumb. A lot of the action wasn't even all that good. While I like the whole family dynamic, and I really love David Harbour as as a fuck, how am I forget, man, right now my mind's so out of the loop. But David Harbour played Red Guardian, Alexei. Um I think I still ultimately think it's and by the way, blue doesn't mean bad, by the way. I do want to say that blue doesn't mean bad. It just means mid or above average. But yeah, I liked Alexei, Red Guardian. Some of the scenes were cool. I really love Yelena Belova. It's the first time I ever watched Florence Pugh, and now I really like Florence Pugh as an actress. She's great. It was great. It also, I will say, the movie felt awkward because we know Natasha's dead, but yet we're almost pretending like she's not for this movie. And I also think this movie is a product of bad timing. This movie should have come out years before. or not years before, but before Infinity War, after Civil War, and it just felt awkward. Like I don't mean to be that guy, but this movie felt really awkward when I was in theaters because all I kept thinking was, I know she's not gonna die because she dies in the future, right? And it's funny because it's the first MCU movie in Phase 5, but it felt like it wasn't supposed to be there. It just felt awkward. So yeah, I mean, I still think it's a decent movie, but yeah, it is what it is. And then 29. This is a movie. This is the only MCU movie that I've ever dropped so low. But now we're in the black section, which means these are movies I like. Um, oh, Phase 4. Sorry, my bad. I was thinking Phase 5. Was your theater silent? I mean, the theater I go to is a local theater. Like, even if I tell you all that, I mean, I won't say the name, but the name of the theater I go to is not like an AMC or a Cinemark. It's a theater chain that has a few theaters, and it's also almost in the middle of nowhere. It's the closest theater to me, actually second closest. But usually I've gone to movie theaters where it's kind of quiet, and I like that. I'm fine with that. I don't think every movie I go. I like sometimes I don't like sitting next to strangers, okay? Because when I went to go watch Endgame, there's this or not Endgame. I forgot what movie. It was Love and Thunder. It was Love and Thunder. There was this fat fucking like sweaty ass, like no deodorant wearing fat ass four-eyed freak. I'm just kidding, by the way. No disrespect to that guy, but he did smell pretty bad, and I remember I didn't like that, but um there's just so much there's just I tend to prefer being alone, but there's also some movies that I prefer there's people. Like No Way Home, I prefer there to be people with No Way Home because of the audience reaction. When I went to go watch Guardians, the first time around, there was only two other people. And then the second time around, there was actually a lot of people. Yesterday, I went to a theater that was nearly packed. In fact, there's like this paper that in the front that said, um, that this screening's full. Multiverse of Madness, I went to a full packed theater. No one really reacted majorly until Reed showed up. Like there's a couple of laughs, like all that. But the thing is, I also think a lot of the average moviegoer tries to not be loud, honestly, from my experience. And I could be wrong about that, but I don't know. My theater was silent with the P joke happening. Guardians. I don't remember. Well, I mean, the first time, obviously, it was quiet because there was only two other people. But yeah, I remember the joke that people laughed at the most. This is the second time I watched. No, the most I've ever heard people laugh in a theater was that joke in the first Venom movie, where Venom is telling Eddie to jump out the window, and then it immediately cuts to him going through the elevator, and he says "pussy," and everyone was laughing so hard, bro. And it's funny because when I watched that movie again, when I rented it on Redbox, seeing that scene without laughter felt so awkward because it kind of felt like you needed laughter because he says pussy, and then everyone or not everything, but the scene is just so quiet. And I'm like, they expected people to laugh at this joke. Everyone laughed when they dropped the F-bomb. Yeah, I remember hearing people laughing at least the second time watching Endgame. Crowd was ear rape. To me, yeah, it was somewhat loud, not too loud. I did go to pack screening, but again, it was a smaller theater. But I remember one part that I always find adorable was there was this one kid in front of us. And it was when T'Challa shows up and he's coming out of the portal. And when Chadwick Boseman passed away, all I kept thinking was about this specific memory. But there's this kid in front of us and right behind us, and he looked like he was probably like 7, 8. And he was this black kid, and T'Challa's coming out of the portal, and all I kept hearing was that kid. He did like the hand thing, and he says "Wakanda forever," and I found that so adorable. And when Chadwick Boseman passed away, all I kept thinking was, man, I mean, all I kept thinking was for this kid, like this kid, Black Panther is now his hero. It's his childhood hero. And same thing with Endgame. Endgame's gonna be his childhood forever. He's gonna grow up telling his kids about Endgame the same way that a lot of older guys now talk about like movies like Return of the Jedi. And I do believe that. To me, Infinity War and Endgame are this generation's Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. I do believe that. Wait, dead ass. Oh, are you talking about the Venom? Yeah, that really happened. And the Venom screen was so packed. And I remember knowing that because it was when it was the theater I went to. That theater before it was the first time that they implemented you have to book your tickets because back then it used to be you just buy your ticket, you sit wherever you want to. It wasn't until Shazam, the first Shazam came out that theater finally had like pre-assigned seatings. But I remember for Venom, we didn't have that, and I remember, me and my friend went very late, and we ended up getting one of the lower rows. It was the lowest I ever sat in a theater. I remember seeing so many people, in that theater, and it was funny, man, because, that movie had a lot of laughs. I remember also it was, I think when the movie was ending and you see the Stan Lee cameo, I remember this one guy yelling, "Where's Spider-Man?" It was funny, man. I don't know, but I don't really have all that many experience. My experience for my experience for No Way Home, I went with all my friends, like all my closest friends, my friend group that I always talk about. They all went to go watch No Way Home with me. We all started clapping. I was the first one to clap when Toby shows up on screen. There was a couple. Everyone laughed really hard when Osborn says, I'm something of a scientist myself. People were kind of getting the camp. That was also another great experience. I love No Way Home, man. You'll see it on the list, obviously, but yeah, shouldn't No Way Home be Omega Def level of ear rape? It should, but the theater I go to is a pretty small theater. Usually, the over here where I live, the town I live in, when you want to go watch a movie, most people go to that AMC. The picture I took when I went to go watch Guardians, that AMC is very popular. That AMC. And what's funny is that in the John Campea show, Chris Carr has actually mentioned that theater before, like because she's from this area around me, and she mentioned that exact AMC once because that AMC is very popular because it's the only place around here that has IMAX, and Dolby. But yeah. Yeah, that's sad about Chadwick. I'm for a recast of T'Challa after seeing Wakanda Forever. I was that for years, man. I was like that, but I even have a video that still has me saying I wanted T'Challa to get recasted, but we'll have Wakanda Forever later on in this. But yeah, I mean, anytime I think about Chadwick Boseman, I just think about that kid that was in front of me, Wakanda Forever when T'Challa comes out of the portal. Um, but yeah. Crap. Yo, what's up, Bianca? How you doing? I like stream then leave. You know what? You should just leave back to Honduras, okay, man? Why you gotta be mean? Why you gotta be mean? I'm just kidding. But anyways, where was I? Um, Everyone laughed when MJ said we gotta kick some ass. I remember people didn't laugh at that. They laughed at Ned saying, no, not Ned. Yeah, it was Ned. Yeah, he said cure that ass. Anyways, um, let's see. I guess that's what happens when your movie's set in a tropical-ish area. Not that Sherry did bad or anything. Can't think of the actress name. Yeah, Letitia Wright. I think she did great, but I just think it also didn't make sense that Shuri became Black Panther, especially when Nakia was there, far more intelligent, far more equipped, everything. It just felt logically didn't make much sense. And also I just to me it just the scene that really got me thinking that they should have recasted T'Challa was the scene where Namor confronts Queen Ramonda and Shuri for the first time, and he's like mad at them because he's like, "Hey, your son did this," and I'm like thinking, imagine that scene if it was with actual T'Challa. Imagine that. Like he's confronting T'Challa. He's like, "Why did you reveal your secret to the world?" And T'Challa, this movie should have been about him answering for revealing himself to the world, or not revealing himself. But that sounds nasty. Revealing Wakanda's secret. I mean, intelligent. Oh, not intelligent, but everything like combat and the only thing Shuri's more intelligent is technology, and that's what she should be doing, building the weaponry and everything. But she just didn't feel equipped. Part of being Black Panther is part of proving you're worthy even without the serum. Shuri never proved that with the serum. I mean, without the serum. Every time she was without the serum, she needed help from who? Nakia. Now maybe it's because Lupita Nyong'o is born in Mexico, so maybe I'm biased. I'm just kidding. But anyways, Eternals is a movie I really enjoy. I really like it. I know I've come to not like it as much because initially when I first watched the movie, I called it my favorite MCU movie. Now to be fair, that's also because at that point I had not recently watched a lot of the MCU movies I had loved. But yeah, Eternals is now much lower, but I still really like this movie. It's a movie I enjoy. I liked everything with the characters, everything with the story they were trying to do. There's some negatives with it that I do look like the villain, the Deviants. I thought that was sidelined weirdly. I also think that the final battle, while I thought was cool, I felt like I didn't like the scene where Sprite gets just it's this epic final battle, and Sprite's delivering this big message and all Jorg does is hit her with the rock, and it's kind of seen as a laughter scene. Excuse me, but yeah. Then 28. And actually, I would change these two. By the way, let me change these two. Um, let's see, Eternals, Ant-Man, and the Wasp. Okay, so yeah, my list changed right there. So Ant-Man and the Wasp is a movie I found fun. I enjoyed it. There's not much to say about that. Then at 27, I have Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. We're just talking about. I think it's I think a movie that has so much potential. I like we were talking. I liked Shuri in it. I mean, I didn't. I really liked Letitia Wright's performance. Namor to me was the best part of this film. I think the villain, obviously seeing Talokan, exploring Talokan and everything was great. Queen Ramonda's act. I'm not. What's her name? Um, I can't remember her name. I can't remember the actress's name, but Queen Ramonda and it was great. Everything was great. Seeing Wakanda again was great. My major negative with this film is I felt like T'Challa not being in this movie heavily affected this film. I felt the whole Iron Heart stuff was lame. I'm not gonna lie to you. I got less excited watching Ironheart by watching this movie because she's just a boring character, honestly. Ah, ooh, I'm thirsty. Some of this movie, I don't know. I think the scene was also way too long, or not scene, but the movie itself was way too long. But overall, I still like this movie. I enjoyed it. I had fun. I did like M'Baku in it. I like Nakia. I like Shuri. I like essentially every character besides Ironheart. Um, Mainly because she's American and I hate Americans. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean, Wakanda Forever, decent movie. Enjoyed it. Then 26, this was a show I did not want it to be this low. I kept hyping up this show because Moon Knight to me was always a Marvel character I believe deserved her his own movie or show, whatever. Then you had a great actor with Oscar Isaac. Well, I think some of the episodes were amazing, and I think the acting from Oscar Isaac was phenomenal. Um, I just think that this show lost sight of what this is supposed to be. And I felt like the whole Egyptian god stuff, I felt like it carried way too much. I still hate that the final battle, we didn't even get to see the final battle, but I did like this whole dual personality. I liked it. Some of the adventure stuff, I thought while it wasn't all that great, I think it was all right. I do agree with this. Honestly, I think Netflix would have done so much better what they were able to do with Punisher and Daredevil. I feel like imagine what they could have done with Moon Knight. I felt like that was another thing. I felt like Moon Knight should have been violent. Honestly, I believe that. I feel like Moon Knight should have focused more on action, but I feel like because Disney Plus doesn't really fund their shows as much as they do with their movies, I feel like that probably affected the show. There should have been so much more action. Imagine all the brutal fight scenes would have been great. I mean, there was just so much, man. The villain played by Ethan Hawke. I like that he was like a cult leader-esque, but he also was kind of forgettable. But I think the acting from Ethan Hawke was great. So Moon Knight, I still give it an up. I still like it, but yeah. And then 25 is Ant-Man. This is now we're getting into stuff that's getting less criticism. Ant-Man, I really enjoyed it. It's a fun heist movie. I like that it's a Marvel movie that isn't just save the world. And it is. I do find it very creative. That final fight with Thomas the train, I thought that was adorable. I like the whole Scott redemption story. He's like this criminal that he can't even hold a job at Baskin Robbins, and now he's like a hero. He changes his life for the better. I like that. I like that his whole motivation is protecting his daughter. But yeah, so Ant-Man number 25, and number 24, I put Avengers: Age of Ultron. Now this is a movie that I really loved when I watched it the first time. And for a while, it actually was my favorite MCU movie, when Age of Ultron came out. But then again, I was like, what? I remember it came out 2015. I was like 13 years old. Age of Ultron was dope. It was the first time we got to see Ultron live action. Never thought they were going to show Ultron live action. Not only that, but the post credit scene really hyped me up that we are going to see Thanos. That was dope. I thought it was all cool. Now over time, I've come to like it less, but I still really like the movie a lot. I really like it. I think Ultron was dope, although I do think that Ultron was kind of wasted, but I thought he was dope enough for this one particular film. I like that you got to see Avengers just hanging out. Like that whole scene in the beginning when they're in the party, just kind of just talking to one another. I think this scene had some memorable scenes, like the whole Captain America saying language. I thought that was funny. There's some scenes in this movie that were funny. I loved it. But Age of Ultron, yeah, ultimately I give it a major thumbs up. Really liked it. But next up is Loki. Now Loki's a show that initially I was gonna put lower, but I rewatched a couple months ago, and honestly, I liked it. Now I do think that there's so much more potential they could have gone, but I did ultimately like it. That first episode was amazing. I really loved Owen Wilson as Mobius. I think honestly, this show would have been far more better if they just had if this season had been about Mobius and Loki. I'm being completely honest. And I hope that's what happens with season 2. If season 2 can have Mobius and Loki together, because those were arguably the best scenes in it, that would have been so dope. That would have been so cool. But obviously they didn't do that. But Mobius was great. I really loved it. I think some of the score was great. I like this whole idea of there's a timeline authority that stops people from affecting the multiverse or the timelines and all that. I really like I didn't really love Sylvie all that much, but I like Sylvie enough. Um but it's I hate Loki. It's a boring. I did not find it boring at all. There was one episode I didn't like. That episode 3 was definitely boring. Episode 3 I think should have been so much more better. Um the only good thing was just Mobius King wasn't interesting. Bro just rambled for an hour. I did like the whole line, but I also felt like that was a boring way to end it. It wasn't anything big. It was just Kang being like, I have variants who are going to hurt you and everyone you know and love. But I like Loki and I enjoyed it. Dope ranking so far. Thanks, George. George is a show. George, stop shilling for me. Go show for better. Go show for women, not me. I'm just kidding. Obviously, interesting. Yeah, my ranking tends to be interesting. Like I've never seen someone with my exact ranking. Obviously, my ranking can change. Like I said earlier, when I was 13, Age of Ultron was my favorite Marvel movie for a while. But it can change. It is what it is. And now number 22, Miss Marvel, is a show I really like. I really like Miss Marvel. I had a lot of fun with it. I've talked way too much about it. I think the character of Kamala Khan is funny. Ultimately, the only reason why I don't have this show more up is I think that some of the other episodes forgot what made the first episode so special. And I felt like going through this whole I did like part of the story. Like I like that it was an immigrant story. You get to see all that. But I think some of it kind of went too much on like these I forgot what the villains are forgettable. Exactly like Falcon Winter Soldier. I don't remember what the villains were. But I like the whole family dynamic. I thought it was an adorable show. I think it's a funny show. I really liked it. I loved it. I really like Miss Marvel as a character a lot. She is the one thing that makes me very interested in the Marvels. Yeah, it is what it is. And also Bruno is a major simp, bro. Bruno, come on. Bruno got no riz, bro. Just kidding. And then 21, we're finally to a Guardians film, which is what this stream is about. And it's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. This is a movie I really like. The soundtrack's amazing. It's all great. But I felt like I rewatched this movie recently. I feel like some of the movie forgets that it's supposed to be a movie. And it's just kind of multiple scenes just kind of glued together. I also don't like that for a large part of this movie, the Guardians are separate. But ultimately, it's the only Gunn movie I don't love, or at least Gunn comic film. It's a movie I really like, though. I really think is dope. I think the introduction in this movie is really cool. I think a lot of the probably my favorite soundtrack in the entire MC besides the first film. And it's a movie that I like. I like Baby Groot. I like Rocket again. I really like Yondu. That whole ending scene with Yondu was great. I like that it's a story about of Quill finding who his father is. I like that they ended off like that. But ultimately, it's a movie that I think had a couple of missteps along the way, but I still really, 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 really like it. But anyways, and now at number 20 is Incredible Hulk. I've talked about this. I think it's one of the most underrated MCU films. I liked it. I like that it's a chase scene, not chase scene, but it's a chase movie. I like that it's a scene about Bruce dealing with this demon in his bottle, you know. But ultimately, I really like Incredible Hulk. I really enjoyed the film. I really had not fun, but I enjoyed it. I like that. I mean, John Campia is in this movie, funny enough. But get the fuck out. I'm just kidding. It's my least favorite of Guardians movies, but I still really like it. I still really like it. But yeah, I agree. It's my least favorite of the Gunn films, both Marvel. Man, George, stop shilling for me. You're just agreeing with me because you just want to shill. I'm just kidding. You know what? One day I hope to be famous enough to where I have shills for me, where I'm gonna start a cult and people are just gonna bow down and believe everything I say. I could literally say Kevin Feige gave me head, and people would believe me. Just kidding, by the way. But yeah, Incredible Hulk number 20. Now number 19 is Captain America: The First Avenger. I really like this movie. I like it. It's a war movie. I like a lot of it. I think Red Skull was pretty dope in it. I like the action in it. I like the whole, he's just this kid from Brooklyn. He's this skinny kid from Brooklyn, and and he becomes Captain America. I like that. Like his motives in it. I don't really have much negatives besides it's just not all like I don't think it's a great film. It's a really good movie. I really liked it. That's about it. Yeah, you too, joking, joke. uh, Incredible Hulk is an under MCU movie. Yeah, I agree with that. Each Guardians of the Galaxy film has a different color for it. It's VHX. Um, Volume One, purple volume. Oh yeah, I didn't really think much about that, but yeah, that is true. Facts, George, kid from the Bronx. But yeah, I like Captain America: First Avenger. And then number 18, Thor. I like this movie. I like kind of Branagh. I like that it's a story about a god being humbled. Right. I like it. It's an adorable movie. I like his story with Jane. I like that. I like that he again. The main thing is that he's humbled. I like Loki in it. Obviously, I've always loved Tom Hiddleston as Loki. But yeah, Thor's number 18. And then at number 17, we have the first MCU movie, and that is Iron Man. It's a really good movie. Now we're finally getting into the really, really good stuff. Like to me personally, obviously it's all subjective, but uh, Iron Man, really loved it. I like that it's simple. I also like it's funny kind of going back to this movie and seeing this MCU that wasn't really a universe at this point. It is very good. I like it's also another story about not a god, obviously, but a guy with a lot of power, humbling himself, right? And I liked it. I really enjoyed it. I like that he uses his powers for good, but I also that's one thing I really love about Tony. That's why Tony is probably my second favorite MCU character besides Quill. Is that Tony is constantly being humbled, but he's still cocky at the same time, and I love that. Um, but yeah, Iron Man. Now Green. Now this is movies I love. So now we have 16 MCU movies I love. And I think the only person who maybe agrees with me on this is Vortex, but I love Iron Man 3. I genuinely love Iron Man 3. It's my favorite of the Iron Man movies. And I love Iron Man 3. It's a movie I genuinely love. Um, and I just like this whole scene of Tony. I mean, again, like I was saying earlier, Tony being humbled. I like that this is a story about Tony recovering from PTSD. I love that it's a story that it's also another simple story, but it also deals with the consequences of what happened in the Avengers. Well, yes, I didn't really like the whole plot twist of the Mandarin. Ultimately, everything else I like. I like the scenes with him and the kid, and that we have this naive young kid, and then there's Tony who's like PTSD ridden. Now he's an adult, everything, and I like that. Um, and yeah, I really love Iron Man 3. So yeah, there it is at 16. Number 15 now. A lot of people are gonna be surprised it's not much up, but it's still a movie I love. But it's Spider-Man No Way Home, man. I love No Way Home. I don't even have to really explain it. I've talked a lot more about No Way Home. I've talked so much about No Way Home. I really enjoy this movie. I really love it. I I mean, everything about it was just so freaking fantastic. But yeah, it is what it is. Someone really made a video saying Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is absolute garbage. That film is a masterpiece. Yeah, I mean it is what it is. It's all subjective, but I do see some people are just purposely hating this movie because people really want the whole MCU woke thing. People just want to hate stuff because it is what it is. Um, Whoa, Iron Man 3 hot take, but I dig it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I really love this movie. I also consider it a Christmas movie. I genuinely watch this movie around Christmas time. Excuse me, but yeah, Iron Man 3, I really love it. I've never understood. There's actually people who have it like on like the lower end, like at the very, very low. Like some people have it as like their least favorite movie of the MCU. I love it, and I've never understood the hate. I really love it. It's a movie I really enjoy. But yeah, it's at the green, so yeah, it is what it is. YouTube, Mount Rushmore, Isaac, Corey, Extension, PewDiePie, Degenerosity. Thank you, Vortex. Everyone, W Vortex in the chat and Markiplier. Uh, but yeah, it is what it is. Spider-Man No Helm's there. And then at number 14, we have Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. I've talked a lot about this movie. I love Multiverse of Madness. Um, I really love it. I like the whole horror aspect of it. I like a lot of what Sam Raimi was able to do was great. Love seeing Wanda as a villain. I thought that was dope. Seeing I don't know why, but I really like the scenes where Doctor Strange is asking, I literally love the scene like "Are you happy?" Those scenes, I really like those. A lot of the stuff was cool. I will say my only disappointment with this movie is that it really wasn't a multiverse film, because really they're just in Earth, the MCU's Earth, and then they're in Earth 838, and I think that's about it. No, and they're also in that other Earth where there was an incursion. They're also on that other Earth. I did find it interesting that they showed the Illuminati. I did wish that there was more multiverse. I also kind of think that there should have been a King post-credit scene, because you can almost watch this movie, and the only thing you really learn from it was the incursions and what they are. But ultimately, I still enjoyed the movie. I really loved it. I loved the Wanda story. I love everything. The horror stuff was cool. But I really liked it. But yeah, I mean, yeah, they go to that, but it's just a quick montage. But yeah, it is what it is. Um, where was I? Oh, I love Iron Man 3. Disagree on the first Iron Man. Oh, he's not a shill anymore, guys. Everyone ban George. George is not part of the cult. I'm just kidding. Ban him. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean, no, I understand. A lot of people have the first Iron Man in their top 10. That is probably funny. That's probably my weirdest take in the MCU is that Iron Man 1 is a movie I really like, but it's a number 17 to me. But Iron Man 3 is a movie I really love, and it's at number 16. I think there's very few people that I think prefer Iron Man 3 over the first Iron Man. But yeah, I think it's a good movie based on Iron Lung will be good because it's directed by an actually a gamer. That's awesome. Vortex 101. But yeah. Where was it? So yeah, Multiverse Madness. There it is. Then number 13, EDP's favorite number, Captain America's Civil War. And yeah, I love Civil War. I mean, I do prefer the comic version, but again, I don't really care about comic accuracy. I think Civil War was great. I think it was cool. I like that they introduced Spider-Man. I love the whole conflict between Tony and Cap. I know people would have this in their top 10, but I don't. But no, it's a movie I really enjoyed. I really love it. I love the action stuff. I love a lot of the action scenes. I think were dope. I think everything about it was cool. Again, I really like the conflict stuff and all that. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But I really I really love Civil War. I genuinely do. Sorry if I'm sounding kind of tired. It's about to get the 2 hour mark. Sorry, but I'm gonna try getting to this lifts, and then I think I'm gonna end the stream. Sorry about that, guys. But I really love Civil War. Really enjoyed it. Yeah, so it's number 13. Number 12, WandaVision. WandaVision. This was a show that surprised me. And WandaVision was the first time my channel gained any type of notoriety. So WandaVision came out and it had been I think an entire year. Wait, was it an entire year? Because Far From Home came out summer of 2019, and WandaVision came out, I think around I think it was January of 2021. So yeah, it had been over a year. And it was good to finally get back. But I remember seeing the trailers. They didn't really interest me because I didn't even know what the heck it was about. But the suspense, every episode. This is what I hate so much is that this show came out. This show came out as a first MCU thing, and everyone expected that every other MCU thing coming out was going to be this good, and never got this good. I hate that so much, but I remember that really hyped me up. I was like, "Oh, Phase 5 is going to be, oh, not Phase 4, Phase 4, and the new saga is going to be so great. What's this new saga?" And then we ended up getting all the other Disney Plus shows, unfortunately. But January 15th. Oh, that's awesome. One of my favorite films hasn't been shown yet. Hey, yeah, we do have we do have more to go, but um Yeah, I mean, I love WandaVision, the whole suspense, learning every episode. Every episode kept having me wanting for more. I would literally have an alarm set up for 2 a.m. just so that I can wake up to watch a new episode. Till this day, I've yet to have that with any MCU show. Every other, even Disney Plus, just Disney Plus as a whole. I didn't have this with Mandalorian. I didn't have this with Book of Boba Fett, obviously, nor Obi-Wan. But with WandaVision just got so good that I that I would literally have an alarm for 2 a.m., wake up, watch the episode, and go back to sleep. And I remember I would go to sleep just theorizing and everything and theorizing, and it caused my channel to gain some type of boost for the first time. I genuinely think that WandaVision was what got me to 100 subscribers back when I was a smaller channel. I mean, it's no small channel, but WandaVision helped me out. And yeah, so I have a number 12, number 12. Now our number 11 might be a bit of a surprise, or maybe not really. And we're about to get to our top 10, but excuse me. Bullying Daniel and Toy Jones. Hey, over here we believe in bullying. Like I said earlier, we believe in prejudice against everyone equally. I'm just kidding. WandaVision, more like Londa Vision or Vision. Why did I say Vision? Vision. I hate the show. Why do you hate it, man? Why do you hate MILFs? Wanda is the ultimate MILF, okay, guys? Okay. So what if those kids aren't real? You know, they're real to us, okay? And Wanda is a MILF. I'm just kidding. um, but yeah, let's see. Oh, Doctor Strange, number 11. It's a cool movie. I like that it goes into so much of the uniqueness of Doctor Strange as a character. The whole Dormammu scene was great. I love that it's again another movie about a Marvel character humbling himself. I still think one of my favorite scenes in the MCU is when Doctor Strange he kills a man for the first time, and he's like, "I just killed a man. I'm a doctor. I was meant to save everyone." And that scene doesn't get talked so much about. That whole hospital scene, it was so good, and I feel like that movie's kind of gone forgotten. I don't know, in a way, it kind of feels like a lot of people forgot about this movie for some reason, or obviously no one forgot about it, but scenes in the movie, a lot of the action, like the whole New York scene where New York is kind of being turned into like this, what was it called? The mirror dimension, which honestly, let's not deny it. We should probably put New York into the mirror dimension. But I'm just kidding. But I do love that you see Strange slowly, little by little, learning about the magics. The Eye of Dormammu. It's funny, he has the Eye of Dormammu for only 2 movies, and that's about it. What a horrible guardian. He's supposed to be the protector of the Eye of Agamotto, and he only has it for 2 movies, man, bro. I'm just kidding, but no, I mean, ultimately, I really love this movie. It was a movie that caught me by surprise when I watched it. It was a great film. I really enjoyed it. It was in my top 10 for a while until one movie came out. But yeah, I think it's canceled. Isaac, hurry up! You're talking too long. Well, you know what else is long? My dictionary. I'm just kidding. But anyways, now we're getting into our top 10. And number 10, honestly, I might put Doctor Strange above Endgame, but Endgame it is. Comes self-explanatory. To me, it is the Return of the Jedi for me, for what it is for a lot of older guys. I love this movie. Love Endgame. Don't even have to say much about it, but yeah, Endgame, phenomenal. Love the conclusion to the MCU. Loved it. But yeah, uh, Easter egg of George's apartment on Doctor Strange. Yeah, George Docks in the new Doctor Strange film. But yeah, Endgame, cool. Then at number 9, it's a movie that I feel very special, and that is the first. Every movie that's coming up is very special. But Avengers 2012, it was a movie that was like, it was the message that the MCU is strong, and it was the message that to everyone that the MCU is this force to be reckoned with. And now it's dominated movies for a decade now, or over a decade. And that movie was just great, seeing the Avengers come together. Never in my life did I think that we'd see Captain America telling Hulk to smash, and not in the sexual way that everyone thought. I'm just kidding. But yeah, no. Number 9, Avengers 2012. Now, number 8, we have Captain America, The Winter Soldier. This was an amazing spy thriller. This movie genuinely may have gone me into spy movies because after this, I started watching James Bond. I watched some of the Jason Bourne movies. Um, yeah, peer pressure. Yeah, let's pressure him into doing drugs and smoking alcohol. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean, no, Winter Soldier was an amazing spy thriller. I really like that we get to see Captain America in the modern world. Bucky was a great villain. The Winter Soldier, seeing that, you see, I like that it shows you Cap in the modern world, but he still has his old traditional values, and I love that it carries on. And this movie really got me to really appreciate that it also felt like the first time that the MCU had a tonal shift, at least to me. I remember that's kind of what it felt like, and I really love Winter Soldier, so I have it at number 8. Now, number 7, Infinity War. Infinity War, man. What I love about Infinity War so much is that Infinity War to me was the first, or not first time, but one of the first times that normal people who aren't nerds were talking with me about this movie. They were asking me, "Oh, what happens in the comics?" And I remember teaching them about fucking Adam Warlock and about Nebula, who Nebula is. And it felt so cool. Infinity War is such a dope movie. It was a movie that had so much thriller from beginning to end. This was probably this and Endgame, but I think especially this movie was a no blink movie. This was a movie you couldn't blink it because you didn't want to miss a single second. But yeah, pizza, hell yeah, pizza time. we gotta make some pizza ball one day on stream. I should make pizza balls, like they did in Multiverse of Madness, that Bruce Campbell character. But yeah, Adam Warcock. Whoa! I didn't even think about that, but thank Winter Soldier's a top 3 film. Yeah, a lot of people have it in their top 5 at least. But to me, there's a lot of other, or not a lot, but there's a couple of MC movies I prefer. But again, remember, the green means these are movies I love. This isn't just movies I genuinely love. These are movies I can rewatch as much as I want, and I'll still love them. Join for free Morbius 2 Blu-ray. Hey, that is some strict peer pressure right there. Like honestly, I'd probably give someone head just for Morbius Blu-ray copy. I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, Infinity War was so amazing. Thanos, everything, every aspect of this film. It felt like and then the crossover is seeing freaking Star-Lord, Drax, and Mantis all fighting alongside Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, and Iron Man. It's just, ooh, man, it was such a fun film, man. It was probably one of the funnest times I've ever had in a movie ever. And I'm being completely honest about that. Infinity War was just that fun. No blink, and then the ending of it all, the snap, everything in it was crazy because a lot of people just didn't expect that to happen. But yeah, number 7, Infinity War. Now at number 6, we have Wakanda, Black Panther. I love Black Panther, man. It was a movie that I think got a lot of new MCU fans. Like I genuinely think a lot of people became MCU fans because of Black Panther. A lot of people love this film. It was culturally amazing. The soundtrack was great, amazing. T'Challa was amazing. The action was amazing. Killmonger was amazing. Everything about it. We had war rhinos. War rhinos. How can you hate a movie that has war rhinos, man? War rhinos. They're dope, man. No, but I think the movie was great. I think T'Challa was cool. I think Killmonger was really cool. Everything about it was so cool. I love it. But Infinity War is my number 1. Dang, and I have a number 8. But yeah, um, but yeah, no War Rhinos. Yeah, but no, the movie was so cool. I love Black Panther. It was cool. I also like that a lot of people love. I love it when people can come together to enjoy one thing, and I love that Black Panther was able to do that with a lot of people. Uh, Again, like I said earlier, talking about Endgame. When I watched Endgame, I saw this one kid in front of me in a row in front of me, just yelling "Wakanda forever" when he saw T'Challa uh, coming from the portal. And to me, ever since then, I just imagine there's so much impact that T'Challa had, or Black Panther had. And then we learned about Wakanda, seeing the new technology, learning about the Dora Milaje, seeing the M'Baku's tribe. I forgot what they're called. It was so dope. I really loved Black Panther. But now we are at the top 5. I think one of these answers will be a surprise. I don't remember exactly what I put here, but I think one of them will be a surprise. But let's finally get to a top 5. And at top number 5, we have Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. This was a movie that really, it was the first time I had gone to IMAX in years, ever since the pandemic, and I watched it, and it was dope. The action was great. That bus fight scene was fucking amazing, bro. I love Shang-Chi, and I thought everything was great. I like that Shang-Chi himself is just such a normal guy, and I like that. That felt kind of relatable. The action was great. See, Wenwu was such an amazing villain, and it's funny because when I watch Shang-Chi, I don't even think about it as phase 4. I think about it as like phase 3 or something like that, and that Shang-Chi just forgot about the Infinity War battle because that's how good the movie was, because it felt like this was a movie that would come out in like the prime Marvel era, man. And Shang-Chi was just that good, man. By any means, top 5. I'll answer that in a bit, but Shang-Chi was just dope, man. It was just dope. The only negative I have from this movie was the one joke where it was Shang-Chi was like was telling his backstory, how he was treated poorly from by oh my god, I just now realized something. I forgot to put Captain Marvel. I completely oh my god. I'm gonna get so much shit, bro. I forgot Captain Marvel. I just now realized that. Oh my god. Thank you for reminding me, bro. Where would I put Captain Marvel? Probably here. Cap. I just put this here. Captain. I feel bad, man. I forgot Captain Marvel. How did I forget Captain Marvel, bro? It's a mid movie. I think it's decent. That's where I put Captain Marvel. Sorry about that. Oh fuck. I scrolled too fast. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, I mean, I forgot about Captain Marvel. I feel so bad about. I thank you for reminding me, guys. I forgot about Captain Marvel. No, Shang-Chi was dope. That's where I'd have it. Now, number 4, I think this is probably the surprise, is Spider-Man Homecoming. You have to remember that going into Homecoming, this was a movie that I don't know, man. I forgot. To be fair, I did this list last second, bro. I forgot Captain Marvel. Man, I forgot about it. But anyways, Spider-Man: Homecoming was a movie that I was so excited for. The minute you heard dun 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 with the Marvel Studios logo, that felt like a dream right there. Because there was a time where it felt like it was impossible that Marvel as a universe would ever have Spider-Man as a character. That genuinely was the time, and I remember when Age of Ultron was coming out, that was the big thing. Everyone was talking about it. But Michael Keaton Vulture, fucking fantastic. One of my favorite MCU villains. I love that this is a story about Peter learning responsibility, because that's what Spider-Man is. At its core, it's about great power comes great responsibility. And that's what this movie was about. It was about him learning about being responsible, about growing up, and I love it. And it felt like, I said, my criticism for Far From Home was that it felt like it was trying to be a John Hughes movie. This movie actually nailed the John Hughes aspect. It felt like a movie that he would make, whether you're talking about Ferris Bueller's Day Off or The Breakfast Club. It felt like that kind of movie, but it was adorable. I enjoyed it. I love it so much. Everything about it was so good. It has one of my favorite scenes ever, where it's Peter is under the rubble after Vulture like trapped him, and I like that he's under the rubble and it's like, I need some help. Somebody help me. And you remind yourself that Peter's just a kid. He's just a kid with a good heart that was given these great powers. And I love that. And I really enjoyed it. And I really love Spider-Man Homecoming. I also like the whole high school aspect. I was in high school when this movie came out, and I felt that was adorable too. Seeing Peter getting shy, asking out Liz, and everything was just so beautiful, and it was just so cool, and I loved it. But yeah, Homecoming number 4. Now number 3, I think this one is on a lot of people's list, but it's Thor Ragnarok. Now this movie I loved even more because it had come after Dark World, and it felt like it was there was before Ragnarok. It felt like the Thor movies were at their end point. Like, it felt like the Thor movies just it was there was so much hate for them that it felt like Thor as a character just was gonna have to be an Avengers character. But Ragnarok changed that. The humor was great, the action was great, all of it felt amazing. Really enjoyed it. In fact, I might have to change Homecoming and Ragnarok. I think I prefer Homecoming over Ragnarok, but I love Ragnarok. It was amazing. The music was great. I still think one of the dopest scenes in the MCU was when Thor comes from the thunder. He realizes he doesn't need Mjolnir. He comes from the thunder, and you hear don 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 don, and it's an immigrant song from Led Zeppelin. Love the movie. Love Korg in it. Love everything about it. Love seeing Loki and Thor finally teaming up, fighting together. Love. I mean, not finally. They've done it before, but it was greater here. And I love Ragnarok, so yeah, it is what it is. And then number two, what this video was all about: Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 Isaac theme song. Oh my god. um, let's see. Homecoming gets too much hate. Not my favorite Spider-Man film, but a damn good one. I'd say it's my second favorite Spider-Man film. I have it above every other movie. Oh no, third because Into the Spider-Verse is second. But yeah, I'd say that's there. But volume 3, I talked about it so much. I mean, this is what the stream was all about. Then did a review. No sleep till brown Joe. That scene was cool. But this movie goes without saying. Now my list might change because I do love Homecoming, and I think Homecoming might be my second favorite MCU movie. But volume 3, definitely volume 3 is top 5, easily top 5. But number 1, we have Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one. I love Guardians of the Galaxy. This is a movie I talked about earlier. It's a movie that really got me to sci-fi. It really changed what type of music I love. Um, it's a movie I really love, seeing all the characters, everything. They're all flawed characters, and they come together and they build their own unique family. I love seeing stories about flawed characters, and I really like the whole ending scene. Dance up, bro, just me and you. What are you doing? Dance up. No, that's what he says after. But I love that. But I love that first Guardians movie. I genuinely love it. I talked a lot about it already, so I don't really got to explain. But yeah, this is my list. Obviously, though, now number 0 honor or no, the real number 1. Oh fuck. At number 1, really, we should have Morbius. And then at number 2, we should have Morbius 2, Electric Boogaloo, and number Morbius 3, Morb, just call it Morb, and at number 4, Morbius, Morbius 4, Infinity Morb, and number 5, Morbius 5, and Morb, and then the Morbius Dynasty, and Morbius Wars. There we go. That's the real list, guys. That's the real top 7. But yeah, I also love that scene though. We Are Groot scene right here. But man, yeah, I mean, no, this is my list. A true moment, Morbius shaker. We are Groot. We are Groot. Oh crap, y'all spam in the comments, bro. What the hell? What the hell? Where was I? Homecoming gets hate. I don't think it's hated. I mean, there is a section of people that don't like it. Because it is very unique, but I love Homecoming. I think Homecoming genuinely might be my second favorite. Might put Guardians as my third, or Guardians Volume 3. Nothing's ever topping the first Guardians movie. That's all I gotta say. Really love it, but man, it's funny seeing you. But yeah, no, this was a great discussion we had. I really love Volume 3. All I have to say is, man, Gunn, I'm gonna miss you in the Guardians films. I don't know how they're gonna be able to do Guardians without Gunn. I'm genuinely that nervous because I love these movies. My favorite trilogy in the MCU, 2 of them being in my top 3 easily. Uh, I'm now much more excited for Superman Legacy and the entire DC universe that Gunn has, and I'm just nervous for Guardians, man. Uh, I'm just that nervous, but I'm very excited to see what they do in the future, at least in the DC universe. DC is in good hands. DC has so much to look forward to. And yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Anyways, that's gonna be it for the stream. We've gone 2 hours. Thank you guys for watching. Sometime maybe on Friday, I might wait. Today is what day is it today? Wednesday. On Friday, I might do another Spider-Man stream. I might try doing those like every Friday, something like that. But no, I mean, thank you guys for being here, man. It means a lot. Really love Volume 3. I gotta go drink some water because I'm actually thirsty. I'm kind of tired right now. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Hope y'all really enjoyed the stream, and I'll talk to y'all in the next one. Peace out.